Hello and welcome back to another episode of You Skipped That. I'm Alex Grace.
And I'm Dan Clark.
And this is the podcast where two friends share movies that one of us has seen, but the other one hasn't.
Correct.
And this week is my week. We actually had a different movie planned, and then the streaming service gods decided to frown upon us.
Yeah.
It's just been taken off of everything when it was on everything when I put it on the list.
Right.
It may show up later if I can find my DVD copy of it. We'll see.
We'll see.
But we're not talking about that movie this week because we didn't watch that movie this week.
Right. I had something similar happen to a movie that's going to come a little way down the line, and I had to order a DVD copy of it.
So we called an audible, and I took one from later down the list. And this is actually the second newest movie we've talked about on the podcast.
You're just pulling all the new ones.
I am. I'm just pulling all the new ones.
You've got the newest ones, and I think I've got all the oldest ones.
Yeah.
I know you have an old one coming up, though.
But it's not as old as any of yours yet.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, I guess.
Yeah.
We are talking about the 2024 action spy comedy.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's a little bit of everything. This movie is just a potpourri of madness.
Right.
I'm talking about 2024's Apple Plus movie, Argylle.
Was it an Apple Plus exclusive? I thought it was.
It did show up in theaters.
Okay.
But then it immediately went to Apple TV Plus because I guess Apple made it.
I guess.
They have a big title card at the beginning.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston,
John Cena,
Catherine O'Hara,
Ariana DeBose is in there.
Ariana DeBose, yeah.
Like 3 scenes.
Yep.
But when you can book an Academy Award winner.
Even in your silly spy comedy.
Yep. Apparently Dua Lipa's in there, but I don't remember who she is.
Yeah, she was the assassin at the beginning of the movie.
Ah,
in the yellow dress.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I saw she was in. I was like, where was she? And I searched the entire Wikipedia page for LaGrange, and it just went, no, that's Dua Lipa. I'm like, but who is Dua Lipa? And I went, LaGrange. Yeah, but who is LaGrange? That was Dua Lipa. That's all Wikipedia will tell me.
You found a perfect Wikipedia loop. It just keeps taking you back.
One of my favorites, little aside here, there's a Wikipedia page for Wikipedia, and on the page there's an external link to Wikipedia.
Wow.
Yep.
That's recursion there.
Yep. Just in case you couldn't find us, here we are.
But yeah, so just kind of a brief rundown of the movie, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's a wild plot.
I don't know that it's possible to do a brief rundown of the plot. It changes every 5 minutes.
We'll just do, like, the bullet points.
Yeah. We don't need to hit all the twists and turns along the way.
Spoilers for Argylle. And if you have Apple TV Plus, just watch this. It's a good way to kill 2 hours.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you'll be entertained.
Right. Don't think too much.
Yeah, just don't hurt your brain.
Don't try to figure it out. It'll change in the next 5 minutes.
It will. So we start off following this spy, Argylle, on an adventure. Lots of explosions, lots of car chases, and then we find out that it's actually a story being told by the author of this book, Ellie Conway. It's just a mild-mannered cat lady who writes spy books.
Or is she?
She gets hung up on a book and decides to go visit her mom, hops on a train, and a very disheveled Sam Rockwell sits down across from her and is like, oh, hey, I'm a spy. It turns out your spy books are prophetic, and so this evil spy agency wants to murder you before, you out them. Action ensues. There's kind of a mini version of Bullet Train that takes place in about 5 minutes.
A little bit.
They escape said train and go to London, like you do.
Right.
Looking for the next clue in this whole spy conspiracy. Everything goes crazy. There's action set pieces. They jump off a building at one point. She decides she can't trust Sam Rockwell.
Right.
And runs away from him.
There's so much in this movie.
And then
I was like, what could we possibly talk? Like, we don't need to hit everything between here and... Oh, right, there is that whole thing.
One, yeah.
There's that thing.
She has her parents meet her in England, and we've seen her mom in some video chats at this point. As a side note, we've been seeing the villain of the movie, Bryan Cranston,
right,
who shows up and is also her quote-unquote dad. Sam Rockwell shows up, saves her from her parents. They run off to France to meet Samuel L. Jackson, who then tells her she's the real Argylle. Her name is Rachel Kyle.
Yeah,
and
Argylle.
Kyle.
Yeah.
The movie gets crazier from here, and I won't give all of it away. We may discuss some of these twists later. That just is a sample of the craziness. This all happens in the first hour of the movie.
First hour
10 minutes.
Yeah,
tops.
it's the first half of the movie.
This all happens before you've gotten to the bottom of your large popcorn.
Right, I don't know.
I can put away some popcorn.
I can
so
wreck
maybe.
large popcorn. Don't you talk crap about me and what I can do to a bucket of popcorn.
So,
this movie does things to you.
it does things. Okay, so with all that out there, what did you think?
I think I liked it. I had heard about the movie before. I had seen a trailer, which can't possibly do it justice. And one of the things I'd heard, because this didn't get great reviews.
No.
I watched a review by someone that I tend to trust. Whether I agree with him or not, I tend to get the points. And one of the things he said is the movie's just too twisty for its own good.
Yes. To quote Ryan Reynolds in Detective Pikachu, it's very twisty.
It's very twisty. And I think it is. I think it is a little twisty for its own good.
For sure.
The part at the end with the music box, I kind of went, oh, come on.
Yeah.
We're right there. Like, You could not do this and it would still be a satisfying movie.
Right.
I know it's going to happen. We're going to be led to believe that this happens and then she's going to be stopped. And then I get it.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen. Just one twist less would be fine. That being said, I'll never say no to some Sam Rockwell.
Of course not.
Who, to let you know how little I knew about this movie, didn't know he was in it. Never say no to some Bryan Cranston. Didn't know he was in it.
Right.
Never say no to some Samuel L. Jackson. Didn't know he was in it.
Yeah. Most of the cast of this movie was a secret. I remember the first time I saw the trailer, it looked like it was a movie starring Henry Cavill and John Cena.
Yeah. Featuring maybe a little bit of Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. It kind of almost led you to believe she was going to get wrapped up in their adventure.
Right.
Not that she was writing their adventure.
Yeah, I kept expecting Henry Cavill to pop up properly in the story. And
yeah,
I think I liked it. It has a lot of fun stuff. As twisty as it is, you still have to just not think.
Right.
Because the rug's going to get taken out from under your feet as soon as you think you have it figured out.
Now, here's my big question.
Okay.
Did you have the big twist figured out by the time it happened? That she's Argylle?
I don't think I did. That was 30 twists ago, so it's kind of hard to remember. I don't think I did.
There's only 2 or 3 big twists in the first half of the movie, and then it's twist fest after that.
This could almost be called the Or Is It movie. It's a movie about Henry Cavill. Or is it? Now, it's actually a movie about a writer. Or is it? Actually, it's a movie about the spy. Or is it? And this person is dead. Or is he? And this person is dead. Or is she? Believe it or not, that's a synopsis of the first half of this movie.
Perfectly, I might add. I was sitting there following it completely.
Yeah.
It's just an insane, silly roller coaster. Like you said, Sam Rockwell, always a delight. Right. I will never say no to more Sam Rockwell.
Right. And of course, he wastes no time dancing.
Oh, none.
He gets there and he's dancing pretty quickly.
Yeah, almost within the first 5 minutes he's in the movie.
And he dances regularly throughout.
Yeah, and puts in some pretty good fight scenes.
Yep, so does Bryce Dallas Howard. Blonde in a ball gown.
That's definitely pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Includes 2 of quite possibly the dumbest action set pieces I've ever seen.
I'm sorry,
but they're fun.
You're going to have to narrow it down.
The 2 big ones, obviously.
Ice skating.
Ice skating,
yep.
And the smoke fight. 2 of the dumbest things I've ever seen, but I can't stop smiling while they're on.
The smoke fight mainly reminded me of the Harley Quinn fight from Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
We can't show her, we want a PG-13 rating on this. We can't show everything, so it's just going to be smoke and
colorful
glitter.
Smoke and glitter.
Flowers and all that.
That was pretty dumb and silly and fun.
Uh-huh.
The ice skating scene in which Bryce Dallas Howard steps on 2 knives, uses them as ice skates to skate through a giant room full of crude oil to absolutely beat the living...
She's got knives. She stabs the living crap out of...
Stabs the living crap out of a whole bunch of evil spies. All the while doing some pretty fancy ice skating moves.
She stabs most of the living crap and then eventually shoots the rest of the living crap out of them.
Out of the ones who survived. Just really dumb, stupid fun. Because that whole ice skating bit, the whole time, my brain is going, this makes no damn sense.
Right.
It's just so fun.
And the thing is, it didn't have to go there, because when the room was filling up, she was like, wait a second, ice skating. I can actually ice skate, right? That's not just something that was implanted. And Sam Rockwell goes, I mean, yeah. I was like, oh, she's just going to like slide on the oil and use that as kind of the frictionless sensation of ice skating. She's like, nope, I'm going to strap knives. I'm like, but why? That does nothing. And she doesn't even use them as like a weapon at any point.
She does.
Does
once.
she?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It all happens so fast.
So much happens.
But again, it's so entertaining.
It is very funny.
It's fun to watch.
It comes at you a mile a minute. Like,
it does. I
feel bad for anyone who saw this in the theater and had to take a bathroom break, because they would have come back to a completely different movie.
Yes.
Like, wait a second, she's a spy now?
Yeah, she's blonde now?
I mean, that could at least be explained away with a wig. It's like,
I thought Sam Rockwell was dead.
I thought Bryan Cranston was dead. I thought Catherine O'Hara was dead. Who didn't die in this movie?
Samuel L. Jackson's in this movie?
There were parts in this movie I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I'm here for it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it.
It is really funny that Henry Cavill and John Cena are in this movie so little, but they're both really good in this movie.
They are, yeah.
Just the little scenes that they pop up in, the little flashbacks that turn out to be Rachel's memories.
Or
Ellie.
Henry Cavill showing up
as hallucination.
As her hallucination of... They do a good job of when she first meets up with Sam Rockwell, she keeps hallucinating Henry Cavill on top of him.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought, oh, so he's the super spy guy. Got it. Okay, cool. And then they kind of go, or is he?
Or is he?
I mean, he kind of is.
He kind of is.
But not entirely.
Yeah.
You're only kind of wrong on that one.
One thing I did love that they did was showing Argylle doing something in a really smooth, really suave, James Bondy kind of way, and then immediately cutting to Sam Rockwell doing the exact same thing, but in the sloppiest, goofiest looking way possible.
Right.
My favorite example of that is when the grenade goes off and he gets launched across the room, and Argylle's like flying through the air, winking at her, and is like really cool.
And lands in the chair.
Casually in the chair, and then it shows Sam Rockwell in the exact same position, flying through the air, flailing his arms, landing in the chair, and getting the wind knocked out of him.
That might have been the first time that I kind of got the Argylle inkling, was when he got up and went, oh, actually, I think my back's a little better.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. Like, she just accidentally did something that worked out really well and was really cool. Wait a minute. I didn't fully get it there.
You can definitely see it because, like, she's quick enough to realize that's a grenade and throw it back in.
Right.
Although throwing it back into the room with your friend is probably not the best idea.
But it worked out. Like, she had it all kind of like the Zach Galifianakis meme.
Yeah.
Of just the numbers and everything. Yeah. She just had that Rain Man moment of, okay, so, like, this is how it works.
He'll be fine. Yeah.
He'll be fine. That other guy won't be, and we'll be good. Like, we'll be able to make an escape. Also, kind of like right after that, when they were in the hall, and Sam Rockwell is real calm about it. I'm gonna probably kill them. I just need you to make sure they're definitely
check.
You need to stomp on their skulls. And she's like, what? And he's like, it's not a big deal. No, it's a big deal. Like, he was being really casual about it. Like, is there a reason that he's...
Yeah, he knows this shouldn't be a big deal to her.
That this won't bother her.
The one watching back through it this time where I'm like, oh man, yeah, they kind of hit you over the head with it, don't they? A couple of things with her mom. Like, her mom's really pushing her to write one more chapter.
Right.
And she's like, this ending's terrible. Now that I know how this ends, it's so obvious. Like, she's leading her right to it.
Right.
The other thing that kind of tipped me off this time, again, knowing how it ends.
Right.
If you pay real close attention when they're in London and it's flipping back and forth between the Henry Cavill and John Cena and Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard, they're finishing their characters' sentences.
Oh, okay.
So John Cena will start a sentence and then Sam Rockwell will finish it, and then it'll come back and Argylle will start a sentence and she'll finish it.
Yeah, I got that they were finishing sentences, but I didn't catch that there was like a rhyme or reason to who was starting and who was finishing. I will say one of the most unrealistic things in this movie, and it's full of the most unrealistic thing in the movie, is the fact that, and anyone who has done any writing, I know you've done a little bit, she sits down to write and she does. First off,
Yeah, no.
That doesn't happen.
No.
And secondly, she finishes something. She writes, all right, and da-da-da-da-da, and the end. And goes, that's it. She does not sit there and agonize over, am I just the worst writer in the history of, like, why do they let me have access to a keyboard? She doesn't hide under the desk and ponder her entire existence. She just goes, that's done. I'm sending it to my mom. Boom.
Yep.
That was the part where I was like, wait, we're in a movie, aren't we? You skipped over the self-loathing part.
Yeah.
That's 2/3 of writing.
And we can't talk about this movie without talking about the cat.
The cat.
The cat who is adorable.
Alfie.
The cat who at one point is dropped off of a probably 10-story building.
And is fine.
And is fine.
And is fine,
He's
people.
fine. Yeah.
We're not laughing about something horrible happening.
Sam Rockwell uses it as proof that there's a safety device at the bottom of this jump, that there's one of those movie crash pads. He drops the cat.
Yeah, see, my thought was, like, if I was in that situation, okay, you dropped a cat from a height, and it's fine. That's one of the defining things that cats do.
Right.
They survive improbable falls.
Yeah. And then the cat ending up saving the day is pretty quality.
Kinda.
He also makes things worse, but isn't that the most cat thing he could do?
Right.
Clearly, it's a dumb movie with unrealistic action. It's a popcorn movie.
Right.
It's not supposed to be Jason Bourne.
Right.
It's not even supposed to be James Bond.
So both Jason Bourne and James Bond have
Pretty unrealistic
Have
things
stupid
happen to them,
stuff.
too. Yeah.
Okay, so Bourne Identity, when he grabs a guy and jumps over the edge of a staircase, firing his guns on the way down, and then lands and is safe
Yep.
because he had the guy as a cushion.
Yep.
Like, that's not how gravity works.
Nope.
That made me question more than anything in this movie did. This movie, like you said, pretty quickly just is like, this is the kind of stupid stuff we're going to get up to here.
This is Cartoon World.
Yeah.
We're going to grind a Jeep down a staircase.
Yeah. So just don't be too harsh on us. We're telling you up front.
Yep.
If you don't like this, there's the stop button.
Yeah. On the topic of really silly things in this movie that I, for some reason, love and I cannot explain, the Whirlybird.
I thought, okay, the thing with the Whirlybird, and I like the Whirlybird. It's a funny thing. It's a dance that they do.
Yeah.
They do it in the place with Al Badir,
The Keeper of Secrets.
the Keeper of Secrets, and part of the dance involves usually the woman getting on the man's shoulders and having a part of her anatomy very close to his face.
Yeah.
They do take great pains to show that the guy's always looking up and not being lewd about it. But then they go in to kiss, and the guy comes up and goes, hey, there's no public displays of affection here. I'm like, did you see the dance they were just doing?
Did you see the dance they were just doing?
Like, oh, doing that to his face is fine. That's not a public display of affection. But a smooch.
Man.
Nay, nay.
Nay, nay. I say nay, nay. The comedy in this is pretty great.
Yeah.
The funny stuff. Ellie Conway's constant nervousness, anxiety getting in the way of
Right.
them escaping things is hysterical.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell being exhausted by her constant anxiety and nervousness.
Right.
Bryan Cranston being kind of darkly funny as the villain.
Yeah, just Bryan Cranston can be in anything, and he's...
Yeah. He's great.
Catherine O'Hara, of course.
Catherine O'Hara, always hilarious.
Yeah.
Her playing a mad scientist, I didn't really see coming.
It works, though.
But it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the sudden reveal that she's British.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Pulls that gun out of nowhere.
Yes. So let's get into a little bit of trivia.
Let's do this.
The tagline for the movie, I actually do kind of enjoy. Once you know the secret, don't let the cat out of the bag. So Matthew Vaughn cast Henry Cavill because he needed someone who was born to play James Bond, but he wanted to use somebody who hadn't been James Bond.
Which is funny because Daniel Craig's out, and one of the names that I've heard floated most is Henry Cavill.
You know, he was actually floated for Casino Royale, but they turned him down because he was too young.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
And apparently they were pretty seriously interested, but they went, nah, he's just a kid.
Right.
Nobody'd take him serious.
Which is funny because in Casino Royale, he's supposed to be just starting out.
Just starting out, yeah.
You see him get his 00 certification in
Yep.
the opening credits.
Alfie the cat actually belongs to Matthew Vaughn's wife.
Really?
The cat's real name? Chip.
That's delightful.
It's a great name for a cat.
It's no Lola, but...
No Lola. That is my cat.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know.
He has Lola the cat, I have Tally the dog. Best cat and best pup.
You know where they got the name Argylle from?
No clue.
The limo driver in Die Hard.
Really?
Yep, that is what he is named after.
Don't know that I would have gone there for naming a side character, sure.
Yeah.
But we need a name for our movie. You know what? Limo driver from Die Hard. Sure, why not?
Henry Cavill.
Uh-huh.
Allergic to cats.
I mean, he never has a scene with the
Never
cat.
has a scene with the cat. At one point in the movie, Bryce Dallas Howard kicks off her heels, and the next time we see her, she's wearing combat boots.
Right.
That's kind of a not-so-subtle dig at Jurassic World, which people made fun of because it had her running through the jungle in high heels.
Outrunning a T-Rex.
So the first chance she gets, she ditches the heels.
Right.
And gets into more sensible shoes.
You know, they did actually saw a video where they had an Olympic runner wear heels on a treadmill and outrun what they say the T-Rex's top speed is in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And she could actually do it. That being said, it was an Olympic runner and
Right.
not some pencil pusher.
Yeah.
You know? But it is technically possible.
Cast of this movie features 2 Oscar winners.
Okay.
Sam Rockwell and Ariana DeBose.
Yeah.
And 3 Oscar nominees. Can you name them?
I imagine Bryce Dallas Howard's been up for something. She writes.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I
And that's a
figured-
shame.
I figure, you know, I guess she does a lot of TV work.
Yeah, she's probably been up for an Emmy or 2.
Yeah.
It has to have been for some of her Star Wars work.
I imagine
She
so.
writes some of my
Yeah.
favorite Star Wars. But that's an aside.
Bryan Cranston has been up for one.
Yep.
I believe he was up for Trumbo. John Cena.
Da 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 da.
Did not see that one coming.
Ah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Correct.
And I don't know.
This person is barely in this movie.
The third one.
Yep.
Henry Cavill.
Richard E. Grant, who played Bryan Cranston's character in the book version
Oh, okay.
at the very beginning of the movie.
All right.
He's in like 3 shots in the
Gotcha.
movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, all right.
2 Oscar winners, 3 Oscar nominees in this movie.
Yeah. I'm surprised Catherine O'Hara hasn't been up for something.
Right?
She's
That's
in
another one.
everything.
She is.
There were a lot of people I was surprised by in this, and while I didn't know Catherine O'Hara was in here, when she popped up, I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Yeah,
Oh,
might as
cool.
well be.
Oh, cool. She had a weekend free.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it looked like it was a minor role.
Right? There are a fair number of nods to Matthew Vaughn's other spy series, Kingsman.
I noticed at the end, the mid-credit sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bar was the
bar was
King's
the King's
Man.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
There are a couple of scenes where a beer from the brand Statesman can be seen
Oh,
from
okay.
the second movie.
I never saw the second movie.
Yeah.
The
The Golden
Golden
Circle, I
Circle,
think.
yeah.
And supposedly, if this movie had done better, and maybe still possibly, he'd kind of pictured this movie and that movie crossing over at some point, which you can kind of see. I think I like this one better.
I definitely like this one better.
Yeah.
This is an actual controversial opinion. I did not like Kingsman. There's a reason I haven't seen 2.
Yeah, I mean, no hate here.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I definitely like this one better.
Yeah.
I think Kingsman thinks itself a little more realistic than Argylle does,
Yeah.
right up until it doesn't.
It'd be interesting if they crossed over because Samuel L. Jackson has played a role in both.
Right?
He
Yeah.
plays Alfie in this one and the villain of
Villain
the
in the
first
first
one.
one. But yeah, overall, fun, good time.
Yes, I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming down firmly on the side of I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And sometimes a conversation like this can help with that.
Yeah.
I remember going to see a movie with a friend once, and we came out of it being really wishy-washy about whether or not we had liked it. And then we sat down and had dinner, and we went, did that suck? By the time we were done with it.
I used to go see a lot of movies with my dad. The nearest movie theater is like a half hour away from us, and so we would have an entire half-hour drive home, usually in the dark,
Yeah.
to discuss the movie. And so, you know, we had a couple of those where we came out kind of wishy-washy, and by the time we got home, it also led me to, because my dad used to be in the Navy, led to me kind of avoiding movies about the Navy because I didn't want to get an earful all the way home. Like, they wouldn't do that, and they wouldn't do that, and that guy wouldn't be that, and that uniform would not be on this, you know. I get it, Dad. They didn't, like, it made for an entertaining movie. There's no way he'd be on the phone on the deck, like, he wouldn't be able to hear.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I have a weird one because it's super specific to my dad and his life.
Right.
The movie Radio. I had that with.
You told me about this.
Because my dad knew all of those people.
Right.
Like in real life, knew 80% of the people that those characters are meant to represent.
Including radio. Yeah.
So he'd always be like, I mean, that guy was kind of a jerk in real life. It's like, this guy was way better than the movie is portraying him as. And I go, well, how about radio? And he goes, I mean, it's a little over the top, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So spy movies.
Yes.
What's your favorite all time?
God, I know I'm gonna miss one. Casino Royale's real good.
Casino Royale is really good. Be towards the top.
It feels cheap throwing a James Bond movie in there because it's just kind of
No. I mean, James Bond is great. It's kind of like the gold standard.
It ranges, but
it does.
But Casino Royale's on the higher end of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think about that. So
really,
I have a feeling you're going to drop something. Like, of course, that one. You know.
No, I mean, I do love the Bourne trilogy. As a kid, I did enjoy Agent Cody Banks.
Yeah.
That was one of those that I saw as a kid and I've seen since, and I'm like, yeah, it's not as good as I remember that being.
Right. If you watch it again, you'll recognize Arnold Vosloo's in that, who played Imhotep.
How about he is?
He is in that, yeah.
I can see him clear as day. Yeah. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is in that.
I can see it on your face. You're like, he is? He is! Oh my God.
Another great spy comedy, True Lies.
Yeah.
Not necessarily spies, but spy adjacent. Sneakers.
Yeah, it's kind
Always enjoy that. The Rock.
Yeah.
It's not really a spy movie, except for the fact that people have theorized that Sean Connery's character is actually James Bond.
Right.
That's a weird, really out there one. It's not really a spy movie.
I've never really bought into the whole, well, every person plays a different James Bond, and it's just a name that's kind of swapped out. Oh, Argo.
Oh, Argo's a
pure spy movie. Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah. You know, you watch it and it's based on a true story. So you know they didn't make a movie about a failed operation. Yeah. But all through the last quarter of that movie, you're sitting there like you're, white knuckle on the arm of the seat. Like, I hope they make it out.
It's funny because I went through a phase as a teenager heading into adult where the Oscars don't know anything about movies.
Sometimes they don't.
It's always just artsy crap that's not any good. And then I remember Argo coming out and getting Best Picture, and I rented it, and I'm like, this is probably just going to be crap. And then I got to the end of it, and I'm like, that was actually really super good.
Right.
And I started to be like, okay, maybe it's not all just artsy crap.
Yeah. I went on a kick of watching all of the Best Picture winners for a bit, and I've seen all of them up to a point. There's like 3 or 4 that I'm still missing. But sometimes it is just artsy crap.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just bad movies.
Yeah.
You look at some of the old ones, like the real old ones.
Mm-hmm. The earliest ones.
They're not good.
No.
Cimarron is not a good movie. And I'll have a serious debate with you if you think it is. Yeah. Broadway Melody, not a terribly good movie. Yeah, there's some stuff that The Greatest Show in the World, pretty movie.
Yeah.
Good.
We had to have some of those to get things like Argo.
Yeah.
We had to go through all that crap to get Star Wars.
Yeah.
We had to go through all that crap to get the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
Now, if that's a Best Picture, I can 100% stand behind Return of the King.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some that I definitely feel are qualified, but there's a lot that I don't need to watch Annie Hall again.
Yeah, and let's just acknowledge that beats Star Wars.
Annie Hall.
Freaking how.
I got halfway through that and started thinking, am I really sitting here for an hour and a half listening to Woody Allen complain about his sex life? Because I don't want this.
I don't want it.
I don't want it. Rocky won Best Picture.
Rocky's a great Best Picture.
Yeah.
I will honor that one.
Tossing it back to our
Episode 1.
Yeah.
Baby.
I think that might be the only Best Picture winner we've covered.
It's true.
I
think it is.
Yeah. I don't know. We've done like 30 some odd of these at this point, so.
But half of those have been my movies, and I guarantee you none of mine have won Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't think any of my other ones have either. Some of them have been up for Best Picture.
True.
But back to spy movies, we didn't mention any of the Mission Impossible movies.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a shame. I should have brought that up. I love that series.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. It has
Yeah.
peaks and valleys. There are good ones. There's also the second one.
Really, since the second one, I can't think of one that's straight bad.
No.
They're just degrees of good.
Right. And wouldn't you know it, the one that I saw in the movie theater, number 2. I remember kind of liking it back then. I have seen it since then. And
I remember I kind of had to twist my dad's arm to go see the third one because he saw the second one and was like, that was terrible. There's no way the third one's going to be good.
Right.
And
that franchise is dead.
he's like, yeah, it's going to be terrible. And I'm like, nah, come on. I think it'll be good.
Your dad had a real track record with that kind of thing, didn't he?
Kinda, yeah. I twisted his arm a little bit, and he's like, okay, fine, we'll go. And we went and saw Mission Impossible 3, and we all left going, that was amazing.
3, the main thing I remember is Philip Seymour Hoffman just owning every scene he was
just chewing the scenery.
in. Yeah. I think the best one, kind of bringing it back to this, is Fallout with Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Yep.
And the famous arm reloading scene.
Yep.
I don't know why I love that so much.
It's cool.
It's so cool. It's stupid, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Which brings it right back around to Argylle, which is stupid,
But it's
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays a really good bad guy in that, which is something you don't see from him all that often.
You don't.
It was kind of fun seeing him play something where he wasn't taking himself super seriously.
Right, yeah.
Because mostly what I've seen him in has been
Pretty serious.
Superman
Yeah.
and Witcher,
Yeah.
which is like the most serious thing to ever serious. Like, it takes itself incredibly seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It has funny parts,
Right.
but he's not like that character is just...
That character is not the source of the humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's what would happen if you made a grumble a person. Oh, God. Anyways. Argylle. Yes, I haven't skipped that anymore.
You haven't skipped that anymore.
Yeah.
Socials. We have them.
Yes.
We're on the Facebook. Mm-hmm. Search. You skipped that. All separate words. Question mark at the end.
Right.
That's where you'll find us. You get on the Instagrams.
Uh-huh.
Or the threads.
Right.
Search at You Skip That. All one word. No punctuation. No capitals.
Uh-huh.
There we be.
We'll be back next week with one of my movies. Until then, I'm Dan Clark.
And I'm Alex Grace.
And this has been You Skip That.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.